Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. So today we're going to be covering formula feeding. So if you're like me and you got a bird at 2 months old, you probably are going to need to continue formula feeding. Now, something to keep in mind, breeders should never really be selling a 2-month-old bird unless you are experienced with formula feeding, or I guess willing to try. This is not a sign of a good breeder, and if they sell them too young and you're not comfortable with formula feeding, I would recommend keeping them with the breeder until they're a bit older. We have been formula feeding Mango for almost 3 weeks now. She's almost done and weaned off. She has slowly stopped accepting formula feeding and has been eating a lot more pellets, a lot more food. She's been learning how to drink water, so she has almost completely been done with the formula feeding, but I will be honest, it has not been something easy to learn. And honestly, only now that she has gotten off the formula feeding have we really mastered formula feeding. And I didn't really find there was a lot of, very detailed videos about what you have to know about formula feeding. So I thought I would make a video about that, and as well how to wean your bird off of formula feeding. So first thing is, when you get your bird from the breeder, make sure you ask what kind of formula feed they're having. You don't want to switch the one that they're already getting. You want to stick to it. So make sure to buy that one. The next thing is that you're going to want a gram scale. So you're going to have to weigh your bird every single day because you want to be sure that they're gaining weight every day. If they're not gaining enough weight, then you're probably not feeding them enough. And if they are kind of staying the same, you have to keep watching them and see if you need to maybe increase, or maybe if something's wrong with them. And this is over a long period of time. So how much you feed them is actually based off their weight. And you feed them, I believe, 10.3% of their weight in milliliters. So when you have a syringe, so for example, Mango, when we first got her, she weighed at about 110 grams. So 10.3% of that will probably make up about 10 cc's or mils of the syringe. And that's how much feed we should give her every single meal. Now you want to part these meals 4 to 6 hours apart. So what we were doing was we started at 8 a.m. her first feed, then we did around 12 or 1 her second feed, and her last feed would be between 4 to 5. You'll usually know when a bird is hungry because they'll do this really loud cry, and it just sounds like they're begging for something, which is normally food. And keep in mind, a baby bird doesn't know how to drink water, so formula feeding is a way for them to get their hydration through as well. So one thing that you do want to be cautious of, and we were actually guilty of this for a little bit, is overfeeding. A baby bird does not know when they are completely full. So after you give them the amount that they're supposed to have, they'll keep asking for food. And as a beginner, you worry, you're like, oh my goodness, did I give them enough food? Was this enough? Maybe I underfed them. Let me give them another syringe of food. Don't do this, as overfeeding will not only cause them to be overweight, but can come with a lot of health problems. So you want to maintain the amount that they get, and then put them in a separate room, and they'll kind of just forget about the food. As well, when you make the food, it has to be fresh every single time, because when you do make the food, it has natural flora and probiotics, which are that good bacteria for the gut and stomach and digestion. So if you're gonna put it in the fridge or reheat it or leave it out, it's going to multiply or change that balance that it has, and then it's no longer going to be good for your bird. It can actually cause them danger. So whatever formula is left that your bird didn't eat or drink, then you're going to have to pour out, wash it, and you're always going to want to disinfect the bowl and the syringe with boiling hot water. That's all really. So you can keep a chart of every single day how much they ate per meal and how much they weigh. So if you're like me and you're more visual and you need to see something progressive just to keep track. So keep in mind, depending on the type of bird, you do want to do your research for how long they formula feed and for how much their average weight should be. There are charts of this that you can find online, but it's, for example, an African gray will weigh about 300 grams. Meanwhile, a sunconure will weigh 100 grams. So obviously, a African gray will need about 30 cc's in comparison to a sunconure that only needs 10 cc. The other thing is, some birds take longer to wean off of formula food than others. So Mango, weaned off of her formula food, not even completing her 3 months. She actually weaned off a little bit earlier, but we're completing those three weeks that we need to. I think I said months by accident. But other birds can take up to 6 months to complete formula feeding, 9 months to complete formula feeding. I know Quaker parrots are 4 months. That's when they're fully weaned. Sunconures are 3 months. So it's just about doing your research for how long you need to formula feed them. When you do formula feed them, make sure, I know that the packaging normally says make it like a pudding consistency, make it thick, but I actually found that this was really hard for Mango to like digest, because when you're formula feeding, this will be hard at first, you'll get the hang of it, but you want to shoot the whole syringe to the back of their throat as quickly as you can. Well, not like in between, like a few seconds, like slowly do a progression, so that they get it all down their throat. And I found that having it in a thick consistency was actually really hard for Mango to, she kind of just kept chewing it up. So I made it a bit more liquidy, and that was really easy for her to kind of get down her throat, which I will be showing you how the consistency should be looking. It shouldn't be too watered down, because otherwise they're not going to be getting the amount of nutrition that they need. And it shouldn't be too thick, because then they're not going to be hydrated and they're going to end up being dehydrated. So as usual, I always say look at their poop. That's a great indicator for how they're doing. When a bird is being formula fed, they're going to have the most massive poops you'll ever see, and they will pee a lot as well. And when they do, I'm warning you, it's like a water gun being shot out. So you're gonna have a lot of mess to clean up, and I would just watch out for when you do have them. They will make it very obvious that they're about to go. They don't go like all the time, but when they do, it's very obvious, and it's going to either shoot out or leave a very big mess. So the first day you do bring your baby bird home, don't be surprised if at first they don't want to eat. This is a new environment, they're pretty timid, and they might not want to accept anything from you, even though it is their feeding time. So a recommendation is that you try and get a little bit down their throat. Oh, Kiwi, what did you do? You pushed Mango off? Back here. Oh, Mango's there. Mango will come back soon. Mango's an amazing flyer for how young she is. She picks up so quickly everything. Hi. Mango. Come. She's back. Hi, Mango. Hi. Hi, baby. I'm gonna go back on the shoulder. Don't push her off, Kiwi. I don't remember what I was talking about, guys. So you want to set them aside for about 5 minutes. Just let them calm down and take everything. Another little bit of formula feed. Same thing until you've given them the amount that they want to. Don't overwhelm them. Don't try and grab them and force them down. Just give them a little bit of space, and you're gonna have to space that out. Normally, this doesn't last very long. When we brought Mango home, she didn't want to eat the first day, but then we let her go to sleep. We fed her a bit, we let her go to sleep. Next day, she was open willingly to eat. She was like, okay, this is my new home, let me eat. So hopefully that happens. If not, just continue this process until they're willing and ready. You have to make sure that you're always maintaining a schedule for their feed. And as well, it's really good if you keep the same place to feed them so they know that's their feeding area. I know while we were trying to pick up the cues when Mango was hungry, she'd always fly to the specific space on the countertop that was her feeding area where we fed her, and that's how we knew she was hungry and she wanted to eat. As well, there are other triggers that make your bird want to eat. So I know that when we always boiled the water, she knew that was feeding time, and she'd start to like you know, go to the area, get ready for food. Keep in mind, when you do feed them, you want to make sure that the feed is warm, not hot, not cold, but warm. When you do make it, you want to make it with hot water. That way it properly dissolves and mixes the water with the formula feed, and then let it cool down a bit. You can touch it with your pinky to make sure it's cooled. Not cool, but like warm. It's cooled from the hotness that it was at, and then you can feed it to them. Now both my birds are gone. So I will be honest, weaning Mango off became much easier because Kiwi was here helping us. Kiwi was very nice and was showing Mango how to eat things, how to drink water, how to play with toys, and that helped her become much more confident and independent. So it's always good to have these smaller pellets, especially if you have a bigger bird. So the one that we were using is this one right here. It's the Supreme Fruit Blend flavor with natural flavors. They both love this. So they're really, really small pellets. I can take out a bundle and you guys can see. See that those are really, really small pellets. They're really easy to bite, and you know, it's good at 2 months to start introducing it. They may not eat it, but you know, they'll play around with it in their mouth and kind of, you know, see what it is and get interested in it. Mango, at first we would pass her one, and she, I think, spent like 10 minutes just trying to eat one tiny little pellet. And every single time, especially we took the opportunity after she got fed and she was begging for more, we put her in front of the bowl full of those pellets and we were like, Mango, eat this. We'd put one in her mouth and she'd be like, oh, okay, I'm gonna eat this. And you know, it helped that every single time she was hungry, that was her only other choice, and she started eating it and eating it, and now she's able to eat it not super quick, but quicker than before. And now she actually chooses pellets over her formula food, which is a great sign of her weaning off. So keep in mind, baby birds don't know how to drink water, and you shouldn't force it on them either. So just having a water bowl out is fine. They might just dunk their beak and get it a little wet, maybe just lick it a bit. They kind of just learn on their own or when they feel ready, and they just kind of drink the water. I don't know, it was just suddenly one day Mango just drank the water and we're like, wow, Mango can drink water now. So now we give that to her. So a sign that your bird is already starting to wean off is when they start to eat less formula and go to their pellet area. And when they're eating more pellets and starting to drink water, they're starting to become very independent, and that's good because you don't want to keep them formula fed, because they do need to start learning how to eat other things and drink their own water. Now I think we have about 3 days left until Mango is completely off of formula. Stop! Guys! They're still a handful. So just keep in mind, if your bird isn't starting to show signs of weaning off, I wouldn't take the formula away, because they do need to be ready to be independent and be able to feed themselves without the formula. Of course, if they are not starting to wean off, I would make a bit of an effort to try and like get them to eat more pellets. If not, this could be a sign of something else, and I would take them to the vet and talk to your vet about why they're not weaning off at the time that they should be. Again, do your research at what age they do wean off, because every bird weans off at a different age.
Are already outperforming other high-end graphics cards in real-world use thanks to higher utilization and better optimization. And this is weird to see, considering the huge...
I know, you're hungry. So yeah, I hope this video helped everyone who has a little baby bird that they need to be formula feeding, or their first time breeders. And this is all from what I learned in the month of feeding Mango, and luckily we picked it up really quickly. But you know, it is hard at first. It is really stressful. You're always worrying if you're not giving them enough, or if maybe they're having too little. And you know, as a mother or father, you're always very protective of your kids and you want to, you know, do what's best for them. Never be afraid to contact the original breeder if you have any questions. I know I got a few basic instructions from the breeder we got Mango from, and that really helped, and the rest was kind of a lot of research and figuring it out. So yeah, leave any questions down below that you guys need to be answered. I'm always answering questions. As well, if you guys want, follow us on our TikTok and follow Mango and Kiwi on their Instagram, me on my Instagram. The links are down below. Make sure to hit the like button if you enjoyed this video, subscribe if you want to see more of me, and leave any suggestions on anything else you guys want to see. I do have a list of things that I am trying to get to. Oh, thank you, Mango. So I do have a list of things I am trying to get to. It's just that I'm just prioritizing the things that I feel like should be done now, especially before Mango gets off of formula. This is kind of relevant to do, but I will be getting through to all those topic requests. So yeah, bye!